just
Damn! I didn't even notice the window back there.
I know, everybody's brother's looking. Turn the light on for me.
No.
Nosy people.
Wow. Yeah, I know, right? Wow. It's like that. Okay, so
keeping that, Jeff.
what we're going to do is I'm probably going to have you scoot the chair out just a teeny bit. All right? Now we're going to test if you're one of those people who can get the OML lined up or if we're going to need the IOML. Because that's going to change my tube angle here. It's either going to be
30 or
30 or 37, okay? Depending on what he can do, all right? So what I want you to do is keep your head touching the board, but I want you to drop your chin down to your chest. Yeah, that's kind of tough, isn't it? To hold that position is pretty rough. However, he can actually do it. That's his OML. Nope, no, you're not. Gotta keep it down. There you go.
Swallowing.
I know, right?
La papa.
So he can actually get it, but that's probably so tough, I'm worried he's not actually going to be able to hold that position. So relax for a second. Now, tilt your chin down, but less. All right. There's underneath his cheek, going straight back to his ear. That looks like the IOML. It's pretty close. Tilt down just a teeny bit more. There you go. So that's a more natural position for him. He's going to be able to hold that position probably throughout the entire exam. So in his case, I'm going to go with the IOML, and I'm going to make a 7-degree adjustment to my tube angle here based on this, okay?
So we have to do both and check which one is going to be more comfortable for the patient.
That's right.
We have
And
to
then-
check both, or we can just do that.
No, you don't have to check both. If I would have tested him and he did the OML just fine, then I would have just stuck with the OML.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, so in his case though, I'm guessing that the IOML is going to be better. So that's, there you go.
37, right? IOML.
Yeah, for sure, yep, 35, 37, yep, I like it. So there we go. Now here's the problem with this though, is that now I only have a short distance that I can go up. So what I'm going to have to do is, I've also seen this happen, where somebody hits here and they run out of space and they're like, oh my god, I'm clipping the top of the cranium, what am I going to do? And they spend 20 minutes staring at the tube, staring at the
Have them
bucky,
get
staring
down
at the
to the knee.
tube. You know. So what you want to do is just move your patient. Slide out, please, and kind of slump down. And just kind of relax and slide down. Go ahead. There you go.
Just slouch. That's the first
Yeah,
time
so all
they
I
can
have
tell
to
you
do
to
is
sit up.
just slouch. You know? So as long as you can kind of slouch, and I can get into this position. Sorry, Dario, I'm kind of mooning your phone there. Just how it works. All right. So I'm getting him lined up where he's perfectly straight, and then what I want to do is collimate. Now for
Where is
him,
your CR?
my central ray is usually right about the hairline, which
Oh,
is
that's the one that's
2.5 inches above the glabella. That's what you're looking for. But for him, I'm actually going to need him to slouch a little more, because now that I've collimated,
Can't see.
I am now clipping the top of his head. A little more, a little more. There you go. That's right. Okay. Now, what I like for this, I know, right, is it looks like you're clipping, but in reality, I'm not.
I'm seeing two different shadows.
No, because you see the light.
Well, it's
above
because of the light of
shoulder.
the phone.
Oh, that's
part of
why.
the problem. There
Okay.
you go. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the problem. That's the thing with camera equipment.
Yeah, that's why I don't
So-
have ads on.
Yeah. So, what you're looking for, though, is you may not be able to see it back there, but if you come this way
I can
with
see
your
it from
camera,
here. Mhm.
if you look here, I can see light field back here. That's what I'm looking at. See, I can see that it's definitely not clipping.
Okay.
From his perspective, or from back
Right.
there, from that perspective, you might not be able to see that there's a light field behind his head. Now, the other thing you're looking for is the mastoid here. Right? Okay, turn your light off for a second, because
Yeah.
there's too many. Yeah, okay. So here, there's the mastoid. It is on there. Okay? So,
I can't. I gotta stop the recording.
oh, yeah, that's not good. You don't necessarily stop the recording. So I'm going to cheat down just a teeny bit and come in side to side. So as long as I've got the both sides, there we go. And then of course you just want to make sure that the IOML is still lined up. So let's see here. Bring your chin up a little bit. Up, up, up. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, so there you go. So that's a nice Towns view. All right, so you're lined up, collimated correctly. He's straight, no tilt or rotation, and I have the whole cranium on there. Now it looks like you're clipping. I mean, if you look here at your light field, I mean, it looks like you only have light field on part of his head. But remember, it's not the front of the face we're worried about. We're worried about where the light field is on the IR. On the IR, I'm including all of his cranium.
So it's more than 2 inches that you gotta go out, basically.
For him, but everybody's different. That's what I tried to get you guys to do. Huh?
Thanks.
Oh. That's what I was trying to get you guys to do when that first day I had everybody stand up and look around the room. It's everybody's head is unique. So just because the light field looks this way on him doesn't mean it's going to look that way on the next person. Their head's going to be shaped completely different than his is. Because that's the one unique thing. The most unique thing on your body is your head. All right? So you can relax for a second, sir, if you're not already.
That looked like a
Yep.
bird.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But you can also see, lean to the side for a second. That's definitely smaller than a 10 by cassette. So we easily got a guy that looks like he has one of the larger craniums in the class. Sorry, just making that statement there. That's not a good or bad thing. But you can tell that you can fit a person easily on a 10 by cassette. I've never seen anybody that couldn't fit on a 10 by cassette, right? So long as you have the appropriate anatomy on there and not a bunch of extra stuff, you can fit just about anybody on a 10 by cassette. I could probably fit Shaq and his big skull on a 10 by cassette, most likely. Okay? So that's your cranial series. Now let's see about doing some of our special stuff. We'll demonstrate the AP or PA. Since you're already in an AP position, we'll just do the AP. So slide back, put your head up against the IR. These I typically like doing on the table more because I think it's easier, but you can still do them sitting up as well. It doesn't really matter. So there you go. There you go.
Let's put them on the table if it's easier.
You can, but then we're gonna have to sit them up again to do other stuff too. So watch yourself. I gotta bring the tube down. So. All right. So here's our AP. Good. Drop your chin down. All right. My legs. What about my legs?
I lost feeling.
Rick James. Rick James. All right. Same idea. Come up here a little bit. Slide this up a little bit.
I'm sorry.
All right. Oh, watch yourself again. Yeah. All right. So it states that you're going to enter the glabella. So for him, again, probably can collimate. All right, your light unfortunately is messing me up there. Can you move it out of the way just for a second? Okay, good. So I can see which light field I'm working with here. All right, so for him, it looks pretty good. It looks like the glabella or thereabouts is going to be pretty close to being correct. You can see, here's the mastoid tip. It's definitely on there. You can see for sure I got the top of his cranium on there. And again, if you come in to the ears on both sides, right, we definitely have it collimated correctly there too. All right. Now for him, oops, sorry. Drop your chin a little more. There you go. For him, you're going to want him to drop his chin as much as you can. It's not going to be perfect for this because we really need like a sponge or something behind his head to truly line up the OML. So, but this is one of those ones where you don't get the option to change your tube angle. So even though he can't fully line up the OML, there's no change to the tube angle. We just keep the tube angle straight. Okay, so you're just going to do the best that you can as far as getting the OML lined up. Drop your chin a little more. There you go. It's close, but it's not perfect. And an AP that's the way it's got to be. Now if you lay him on the table and you put a sponge, you can really get the OML lined up perfectly. I don't know why it's easier when you lay people down. Again, I think maybe it's because the table helps support their neck and back some. But for whatever reason, somebody that can't get their OML lined up sitting up sometimes can do it easily while they're laying down supine. So it's just one of those things, you know. Relax. All right. The PA would look exactly like this. The only difference is we're facing towards the board. Okay, so it's the same exact thing. You're just facing towards the board. All right. This way, nose and forehead up against the board. Wow, man down. There's a man down. All right. I don't know why this thing is. There we go.
Fail.
I know. You guys are messing all my stuff up. And he's all over the tube. I can't raise my tube. People are dancing on my machine. Bunch of jerks.
There's only one person down.
Oh. Yeah, well, it was a team effort.
Okay.
It's a team effort. It was a team effort. All right. So same idea. Slide you over a little bit more again. There we go. Get him centered a little better. There you go. You're like leaning to the right for some reason. So once again, exiting the glabella. For him, I'm cheated up a slightly higher, but you can tell that I have the top of the cranium, both sides of the cranium, and of course the mastoid tip, which is the base of the cranium on there. So as long as you're all lined up, there's no tilt or rotation, this is going to be a nice picture. All right, and just because you like it, bam, there you go. There's your marker as well. All right, so PA, pretty simple. All right. What do we have? Oh, since I have you in this position, go ahead and hold that position for a second. All right, I'm really gonna have to move this around a lot. Let me show you guys the Haas method real quick. So, Haas method. Hit that light just for a second.
What comping on that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Us.
The Haas. So, there's our 25 degrees angled up. Now, by the book, it states that you're gonna come down to the level of EAM. But once you adjust your light field, you're going to realize that that's not really going to work so good. Okay, you can see I'm clipping off like the upper half. Once again, your light's killing me over there. Move to the side just for a second. Here's where the light field is. This is the top of his cranium.
Just
I
put
am
your
totally
finger right
clipping
here.
Box it.
the top of the cranium.
Oh, okay.
What was that? Was that the camera too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
you
you
hold
put
your
your
finger on
finger,
there. Yeah.
Okay. Say again.
So basically we're clipping the top of his head. We can't do that. So what we have to do then is cheat up a little bit and then find, which I can't see, I really can't with that light, sorry, where the top of his cranium is. All right, there we go. Now it's looking pretty close.
That's just his hair. That's.
Well, that's what I mean. I got a light source there, so it looks like his head's over here. But when you look over here, I can cheat up maybe just a little bit more. But what you want to do is be able to see, is that really just his hair? Yeah, that's just hair.
Okay.
Okay, so I actually do have light field above. Same deal here. You can see this is my light field here. There's the mastoid tip, right? So I definitely have it on there. Everything's on there. In fact, I might even cheat up just a teeny bit more and then collimate. Right? Can you still get it on there? Yep, that's still in there. And yeah, I still have it up there.
Did you call him any
Right.
further from that?
No, probably not. I mean, side to side, I can come to his ears a little more. And then, of course, you want to move up your cassette. I'm going to slide this up just a little bit. Bam. Right.
That looks wrong.
It looks totally wrong, but in reality, it is completely right.
He looked like
Okay.
he has a melon head.
Yeah,
That shadow.
Yeah, just for a second, move that light source again, just for a second. Yeah, look at that. And you can tell the cranium is definitely in there. It's not where the light field is here, it's where the light field is here. And if you think about it, think about like doing that big guy who's got the big beer belly for your abdomen x-ray. The light field may look like this on his belly, but in reality, you're collimated to a 14/17. You're getting his whole KEB, right? So it doesn't really matter what the light field looks here, it's where it is on the IR that matters. And here you can tell by the shadow that you can see his whole cranium is definitely on there. So that's your Haas method. And if you look, here's the level of his EAM. Look how much I had to cheat up to see this is where the central ray actually is, right? So level of the EAM usually does not work. In fact, I've maybe seen 2 patients ever who you could line up at the level of the EAM and not clip the top of the cranium. Almost always you're going to have to cheat up. So start at the level of the EAM with your crosshair and then just cheat up until you can make sure you're collimated correctly and still have the top of the cranium on there. Okay? Last one is your good old S&B, and S&B is definitely the neck breaker. It's a killer. So I'm going to adjust here for a second.
Turn around, right?
Yeah, you're going to have to turn around. And what I like to do is kind of move the tube out of the way. Scoot him out a little bit. You're going to scoot out a little bit more. And bring this Bucky down. And the first dry run, I'm just going to line up the Bucky. I'm going to try and figure out where the top of his head is and center it to where I think the light field is going to need to be for my tube, for my Bucky. Then I'll line up the tube, and then from there I can adjust and do whatever I got to do. All right? You ready for this one? Mm-hmm. All right, so lean back, put the top of your head up against the IR. All right, can you tilt your chin up higher? Okay, relax for a second. Let's scoot you out a teeny
That's
bit
the
more.
position I did, but I did it standing up.
They made you actually stand up?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't with me, was it? Wow, I probably docked that person of 5 billion points for
I
that
have
cop.
no idea. You didn't say anything. She was the one that's doing it.
Wow. Yeah, because that's terrible. You don't make somebody just stand up like that. That's hard. To have to stand up. All right, coming down. All right. So now I'm going to kind of get an idea of about where I'm lined up. That looks like the center there. Pretty well lined up there. I'm going to have to do some final adjustments with him. But I'm going to go ahead and open up my light field. Get it to about what I think it's going to need to be. All right. Why don't you relax for a second? All right. You're going to slide over towards me a little bit.
That's what you was talking about.
Yes. See, that's the
Don't
idea.
pay
If
attention
you're
to the
trying,
visual.
yeah, if you're trying to do all this stuff with keeping him right there, after a while, he's going to start wearing out. He's going to start shaking and moving because it's just such a hard position to hold. And that's what I mean. In those type of situations, then people complain. They say, well, my patient failed the comp because they moved. And I'm like, no, you killed your patient. That's what happened. You know, you forced them to do something that wasn't humanly possible, and that's why they moved. So you want to think about your patient and think about how you do it if you were the one getting the x-ray. And if you follow those rules, you'll be all right. Okay, so here we go. Last one here. Do we have an angulator in here anywhere?
It's out there.
I need the angulator.
Angulator.
Angulator. Yes. Because he's not going to be...
turning wrenches, I couldn't tell.
Yeah. All right, so hit that light for me. Now, the way the angulator works is you're going to place the bottom edge of the angulator on whatever it is you're trying to measure. So in this case, we're going to measure where his IOML is, or the GAL, right, and figure out what the angle is. So you could put this right along the line of the GAL and then find out how much he's tilted, okay? And that angle is then going to be the angle you're going to match on your tube, all right? And it's always going to be going up, okay? So here we go. This is the final run. You're going to have to hold this position. You ready for this? All right. Tilt back as best you can. Hold it there like that, best you
Right
can.
off or leave it on?
All right. Here is his IOML, right? It's not perfectly straight. He's off by at least a few degrees. So let's figure out how much. GAL shows that it's right around about 10 degrees. So that means I've got to match this by 10 degrees here.
Probably.
Yep. All right. So watch yourself there. Come down. All right, buddy. Here we go. No tilt or rotation on him. 10 degrees. Now the real trick is figuring out if we are clipping the back of his skull. And it's kind of hard with his shoulders, but you can see this is where my light field is down here. This is where the back of his skull is. I definitely have light field below where his shoulders are, and the base of his skull is right about the edge of his shoulders. So I definitely have it on there. In fact, I think I could actually collimate a little bit, maybe even cheat up a teeny bit.
So that's what you was talking about. I was wondering
Yeah,
how you're going to
you
get the
gotta
light
check.
behind that.
Don't move, don't move. I know it's getting tough. go. Collimate side to side. Last up, just make sure don't do rotation on them, folks. Pretty straight. There you go. So there's your S and V. I'm lined up here. He's lined up, right? I have my 10-degree angle. If he could get the IOML perfectly straight, I would have no tube angle. It wouldn't be necessary. But the fact that he can't get his IOML perfectly parallel is why I have to have tube angle. Okay? So, but yeah.
It's like kind of C4.
Yeah, it's almost like right on his
C4,
thyroid.
yeah.
So unfortunately this would cook his thyroid, but hey, you know, one of those things we can't help. I have to get the base of his skull on there. If I don't have the base of his skull, then I'm clipping.
I'm trying to see how
So-
you can tell. Can you show me again where you can tell the base of the skull?
The only way you can really try and do it is open it up here,
Uh-huh.
try and, yeah, his shoulders are in the way. I mean,
Oh,
I
see
have
the
light
shadow
field
of the pen.
below,
Okay.
yeah, but I have light field below that area.
Okay.
So that's how I know that I'm for sure got it on there.
Okay.
So if somebody comes in and let's say, I know you're kind of slipping here,
Mhm.
hold it for just a second more. If somebody's collimated like this, for instance, and let's go up, then for sure I know this guy's clipped, right? I can look at it from there and say, okay, it's for sure clipped. Because here's the base of his skull, right? Is it anywhere in the light field?
No.
No way. And that's what I mean. That's when people,
Like off the seat.
when they collimate and then they're like, oh, how did I clip the back of the skull? And it's like, it's pretty obvious that I can show them, hey, you clipped. Okay? So, all right. Relax, sir. Don't hit your face in the tube. Yeah, you always want to cheat. Yeah, you always want to watch your patient and make sure they don't kill themselves on the tube. All right?
Got him.
So, cool. I think that was all of it. I think that was every one of them.
Is
Because
it?
we did Haas, we did SMV, we did APPA. We didn't do a reverse Caldwell, but it looks just like
It's
the
the
Caldwell,
same,
just
but opposite.
angled up. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we pretty much got it.